Hi Year 3, we're going to do our art lesson today again because it's Thursday. So I hope you enjoyed making your Roman shield last week, and we're going to do a different piece of artwork this week linked to the Romans. So the first thing I need to do is to share with you a PowerPoint which is all about the Colosseum. Now the Colosseum is the name of an amphitheatre in Rome in Italy. Okay, so we're going to find out some more information about the Colosseum first, because this is going to be the centerpiece of our artwork. And then I'm going to show you another PowerPoint that also explains how and why we're doing our artwork in this particular way. And then I'll share with you how to make it as well. Okay, so the Roman amphitheatres. The Colosseum is the largest amphitheatre built, and it's in the centre of Rome, and you can still go and visit it now. It is in a ruined state on there. It's not as it was in the Roman times on there, but you can still go, you can still have tours, people go and have a look around it. It took at least 8 years to build it, they think, starting around 72 AD. And it's a very large building. It has 80 entrances, meaning a crowd can obviously come in and come out of the Colosseum very quickly. All of the entrances and exits were numbered, so you knew where to go in. And all the staircases were also numbered as well. So they were very organised, weren't they, the Romans, with their numerals on there to get people into the Colosseum quickly. You would also find in the Colosseum that there were rooms with cages which held wild animals under the wooden floors, so things like lions, tigers, hippopotamuses. They caught all those wild animals and put them in cages, and they would be under the wooden floor, and therefore the cages could be lifted and appear in the middle of the Colosseum there, so the audience could see them as well. And if you can see a special design on here as well, can you see the arches going all the way around? Oh no, they look like big windows, don't they? So they actually, the clever Romans, built the arches, and it's made the structure of the Colosseum more steady, more stable, it was more solid as well, because it distributed the weight out on there. And also, you didn't have to use as many bricks on there as well, so you have these gaps in there. Also makes it look quite decorative as well. So that's what they used on there to build it. So that's very iconic with the Colosseum there, with the arches that you can see. And you'll need to remember that bit for later on there. We're going to put that in our artwork. So what was the Colosseum used for? So the Romans liked to have fun, we know that already, but they had a different way of having fun to what we do nowadays. So they couldn't go to the cinema or things like that, but they enjoyed watching people fight. So we know about the gladiators already, we've touched upon that as well. So they were amused by that. They enjoyed watching gladiators fight, and to the death as well. So one of them would die on there. They also went to the Colosseum to view, again, executions. That's people dying again, and they did that. They went there for pleasure to watch those, but they also could go there to watch plays as well, and dramas on there as well. So as I've said before, the Colosseum is the largest amphitheatre ever built, and it had seating for about 55,000 people. That's a lot of people. That's why they had to number all the entrances and exits and stairwells as well. And so 55,000 people is roughly as big as Anfield Football Stadium in Liverpool, where Liverpool play. So if you think about football grounds nowadays, our modern day ones, how large they are, you could get the same amount of people into the Colosseum. Now, there were different levels of seating in the Colosseum, and the best place was the podium. So if you sat there, you were a very important person. So you were like the emperor or part of his family, or if you were a senate as well, they went in there. So the podium was the best spot. So the emperor controlled the Roman Empire. He had very luxurious life, and had the best of everything. So he'd have the best seat, wouldn't he, at the Colosseum? Makes sense. He was advised by the Senate, which was a group of men. They were normally wealthy, upper class, very powerful families. So being a senator was a very prestigious and highly respected position. And they would also then get to sit at the podium as well, along with the emperor and his family on there. So that was the best spot that you could have in the Colosseum, and you can see that on here. Okay, so down here you can see this would be the expensive seats. There's your entrance and exit parts for coming out, the gladiators on there. And you would have your podium here, the first tier. And then as you went further up the Colosseum, as you got higher up, you went into the cheap seats on there. So you'd have, maybe at the very top, you'd probably have more slaves and women on there. The very poor people would have to sit at the very top on there. So depending on your wealth would be where you sat in the Colosseum. So we do know about the gladiators. They were normally slaves, weren't they, all prisoners, and they were forced to fight. They didn't have a choice on that. And again, till the death, so you could die if you weren't a very good gladiator on there. Sometimes they fought against animals as well. So you might have got killed by a lion or a tiger as you were doing that. And then sometimes if audiences requested it and the highest authority agreed, so the emperor or the senate there agreed, then the gladiator could be spared their life as well. And if the emperor gave a thumbs up, that meant that the gladiator could live. And if he gave the thumbs down as a signal, then that meant the gladiator had to die as well. So a very tense time there for the gladiators, whether they were going to live or die on there. Right, I'm going to share you on now. So now we know about the Colosseum, I'm going to show you some information about a artist called Andy Warhol. So you might have heard of him before. You might recognize some of the things that I'm going to show you, because we're going to do a picture of the Colosseum, but we're going to do it in the style of Andy Warhol. So there's a picture of him, and he was a pop artist, and pop just stands for popular. So he was a pop artist, and he used a technique called screen printing. So he created an image and then printed it out. So you had lots of the same image repeated on there. And he was very famous for changing the colours of the pictures as well. So if I show you one like this, you might recognise something on here. So we've got the dollar sign, haven't we? And he used very bright colours. So he's repeated that design again and again over there, but he's changed the colours of them, and he's used really bright colours as well on his repeated pattern. He also did the repeated print pattern of famous people as well. So we've got the famous boxer here, Muhammad Ali, and you can see, look, he's got the pink up there, he's changed the background then to blue on there, he's focused in on his fists, he's got the green in there, we've got the yellow background, so really bright, unusual colours that you wouldn't normally find in paintings on there. So Andy Warhol's very famous for that. Here's one of Marilyn Monroe's, a famous actress. And again, he repeated the pattern of her, the same print again and again. But he was very famous for changing things like the hair colour, the eyes, the lips. He really picked out the features of her face on there to emphasise them in different colours. You can see that there. So he changed it each time he did it. So she's got pink lips there and then red, and the eyes are pink, and then the eyes have gone to white on there. So he would do lots of different famous people on there, and his artwork is very famous. If you haven't seen it, you can go onto Google, couldn't you? Type in his name and go onto images, and you could find some more work that he has done on there. But it's just a repeated pattern of the same picture on there, the same print. Okay, so we can stop sharing that one and I'm back. I'm now just going to set up all my art stuff, so I'm going to pause myself, and then I'm going to show you how to create your own picture of the Colosseum in the pop art style. Okay, so I'm just going to pause, set myself up, and we'll be back in a minute. Right, so I got all my artwork ready for you now. So what you need today is on the OneDrive, I've put in a template of our Colosseum. So it looks like that. So if you need to print that off beforehand on there, okay, so it's just black and white on there. And you will also need some felt tip pens today, glue stick, and some scissors to help you. So hopefully you've got all those things in your house. So once you've printed that off, that's your template that you've got, you need to start to draw the bolts that we had on here, okay? So you need to do this circular design on there. And I haven't quite finished all of mine off. Remember, they were there to steady out and support the building as well. I'm just going to finish off drawing mine on here. You can see I've got a few more left to do. Go round and round. And I've got 2 more little ones to do. There we go. So I finished mine up. So I hold it there and you can see. So there's them coming around. Okay, and as we saw in the picture beforehand on the PowerPoint as well, they also have the little sort of port-shaped windows at the top there. Okay, so you need to do all of these for me going around, and then you've got this little line coming out of them as well and down. Because what we're going to do is we're going to colour it in a pop art style. Okay, so half of all of those I'm going to shade in. I'm going to shade all those in black on there. My little window parts at the top, the little round bits. Okay, as you can see, so I'm doing each of those round bits in black, so those will need to be in black as well. And then I'm doing these bits here in black as well, and it looks really effective when it's finished. Okay, so if you colour all those in black along there, mine quickly, you can take more time over yours, won't you? And make sure, don't go over the lines on there. So hopefully you'll be able to access this art because it is paper, felt and pen. I'm sure you've got felts. Then, once we've coloured all those in with black, I'll show you what that looks like. So then going to use our felt tip pens to make it all bright. Okay, so you see it looks more like the Colosseum now, doesn't it? It's got the shadow part of the inside on there shaded. Right, so that's what yours should be looking like once you've done that in the black. Then you need to get your felt tip pens, the brighter the better. Remember, Andy Warhol did lots of different colours on his, and you're just going to colour it in lots of different bright colours on there. So I'm going to use green at the top on there. So that's the first part. I've done a green. You can choose any colour that you like on there. I'm going to have a nice bright yellow below as well. And colour that in. Again, you take your time over. I'm just going to do mine quickly to show you. Yours will be a lot neater than mine. Little black bits on mine from the black felt tip pens. There. So I've gone with a yellow below. We've got the green and the yellow nice and bright on there. Oh, I've got a nice pale blue. So I can do that next. So make sure the colours are different that are next to each other. And it makes it more vibrant that way. So a nice bright blue colour underneath. It's looking really good now, isn't it? So what I've done, so you don't have to sit there watching me colouring in, is I've got one here that I have nearly finished. So can you see how lovely that looks? All the different colours. So I'm just going to finish this one up and then I can show you the last little bit that we need to do on there. So I think I'm going to go for an orange at the top here. Finish this one up. Right. And I have an orange doorway. So you could use your colours and just as you're colouring it in, spread them out a bit so they're not next to each other and they look different when you use dark blue. I've not used a dark blue yet. So just make sure the colours aren't next to each other and it makes them stand out a bit better. And they do look good contrast of colours on there. And I need one more colour. What haven't I used? I've used quite a few there next to each other. I'm going to go for a yellow, I think. Again, nice and bright yellow. There we go. So when you've done your archways and you've done the black parts to make it look like it's 3D, if you can go in through it. Okay, and you've coloured in each of your sections. It should look like mine now on paper. So mine's just on paper as well. Then all you need to do is cut round it. So very carefully with your scissors. If you're using big kitchen scissors, make sure there's an adult there to help you. Little bump in there. So you cut round the whole thing. Again, do it nice and carefully, take your time. And then what we've done in school is once we cut them out, we mounted them onto black card, just so that those bright colours really, really do stand out in there. So you just cut round, so you just left now with your Colosseum in the pop art style, the different bright colours. And then all you need to do, your glue, whichever type of glue you've got, and we just round all around the outside of it, so it doesn't start to peel off. And then you can do a bit in the middle as well, so stick down. So if you have got black card, a piece of black card, it looks really good. Stick that on. Make sure it just about fits onto mine. There we go. Then you stick it down onto the black card. It really stands out now on there in the black entranceways there, on the archways, sort of blending with the card as well. Obviously, so you can go in there as well. So there's one that was Share made last year as well. So they're quite simple to do, paper, felt tip pen, but I think they look really effective as well. So you put that up on the wall, couldn't you? And that's your own piece of pop art that you've done for a Colosseum. Okay, so I hope you enjoy making that. It's a nice and easy one this week for me to do. Okay, so if I find it nice and easy, then hopefully you did as well. So again, if you've done one and you're proud of it, please send us a picture, because then we can have a look at them. It'd be lovely to see them. So have fun and enjoy doing your pop arts. Okay, see you next week.